Welcome to yet another week of Misunderstood. I am so excited and I must commend myself for the consistency. Well done, yeah, very well done. Now, welcome to Misunderstood. This platform's sole agenda may sound like a broken record every time when you watch the videos. It's just to give understanding to life, the seasons of life, the happenings of life, and also sometimes you just don't know what to do. And I come here to share some things that I've learned. Not because I am the custodian of all knowledge and truth. No, I am not. I come here because I have either learned this through my experiences, through friends, through conversations I've had with people, through books I've read, through things I've listened to. And so I come here to share these things only because I believe that there's so much power in sharing what you know. Now, I say this also to just encourage you to leave a comment. No, leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you have to share about what this topic is. Now, over the next few episodes, you're going to be realizing that I will be sharing a lot about help me situations. The first one was about help me with my social anxiety, and I hope it helps someone based on the engagement and conversation. I really appreciate what all of you have said. But today's episode is very close to my heart because I've come to realize that it is either something that is happening a lot of late, or it is something that people are becoming comfortable having a problem with. I don't know if you've ever seen those things, like people are comfortable saying, Aki, gosh, the economy is so bad, and you want to blame that a lot, and you're comfortable complaining about it as opposed to doing something about it. Now, today's episode is about me trying to help you make friends. Now, it sounds like such a juvenile topic. Like, Nyawira, who doesn't know how to make friends? I've come to realize that the magnitude of friendship has been misunderstood so many times. And so we really don't know how to make the right friends. Or we've been in situations where we've been around people, but we realize, we're not friends. And so that's what this conversation is about today. Now, based on our social culturing, things like school put us in places where you're around people, and because you're doing the same thing, you often find that you gravitate towards certain people over and over again. But so you feel like in high school, we were there for 4 years, or depending on your system of education, I did 4 years. And so we were there together. Then we went to campus another 4 years together. And so we made friends with people for those 4 years. But when these seasons end, you find yourself so confused because now you're out there alone, you're in life alone, you're either looking for a job and you feel so lonely. And it's such a hard thing to make a friend when you're in that season. And so I really hope that this conversation today will make you feel like I have some tangible steps that I can take into making friends. Now, the funniest thing about when I was reading and researching about this video is that the number one way of making friends is the funniest thing for me, because it really is about you taking time to enjoy yourself. I think it's Joyce Meyer who says this all the time, is that nobody is responsible for your happiness and your joy other than yourself. Because I cannot come and expect my friends to be the reason why I'm happy, be the reason why I'm full of joy, because it's an unfair expectation from people, really. And so working on yourself is saying, I get to love myself and know who I am. What do I like? What don't I like? What do I like doing for my free time? What do I don't know. What do I not like doing? What do I like eating? What do I not like eating? Like for Nyawira, I cannot stand the thinking of going for hikes. I feel like it's such a tiresome thing to do. But there are people I recognize who enjoy it, and they do it on their own, and they have such a good ride. Now you'll never find me doing it. Do I like taking walks? I like taking walks. And so some of those things give me a sense of, we're not doing so badly. And so this is just to tell you, enjoy your own company. Learn what works for you. What's your own rhythm? Because if friendship is a song, then these two rhythms must really come into a sense of alignment. Other than that, it becomes chaotic noise. So figure out what works for you, all right? And I will say this carefully, but also very honestly, is that loneliness sometimes is not the enemy. Because in it, you find the things that matter to you. And so when people come into your life, you introduce them to who you are. You don't take away, or you don't find yourself in a situation where you become everything that they are. I don't know if you've ever had a friend or if you've ever been the friend who is constantly obsessed with everything that you do. So for example, my favorite color is green. And so say I meet you and I want to become your friend, and everything I'm telling you I like, you like as well. It becomes such an awkward place because we can't have anything wholesome in our approach of conversation, because I almost know that my thoughts are going to be the same as your thoughts. And so finding out who you are and what you like is such a good thing, because you present something to the table. And just to encourage you is that it doesn't have to be the same as everybody else's, and that's okay. All right. So don't let loneliness look like it's the enemy. Work on you. All right. But also, just to let you know that in that season, something that I could practically suggest is journal. Write down things that about you that you found out about yourself that you never knew. I found out that there's a lady I listened to, I completely forget her name, a while ago, and she said it took losing so many friends and unfortunately even her marriage for her to realize that there's so many things about her she did not like, and so many things about her that she now values. So find out who you are. What are you about? All right. And that will really help you so that you stop feeling like you're the enemy all the time. Okay. So that's number one. Number two is take a calculated risk when meeting people. So previous episode talked about social anxiety. Today I'm telling you about making friends. And why I want to talk about that calculated risk is because sometimes there's an illusion in our minds where we picture that I have this ideal friend in my head. They're going to talk like this, they're going to walk like this, they're going to like these things. And so what you do is you dismiss every human interaction because in your head, this is not the friend I want to have. Now, let me tell you, the only way to know somebody is knowing somebody. And so this is just to let you know that a calculated risk could be start up a conversation with somebody. Get to know what are their likes, what are their dislikes, what do they not enjoy, what do they enjoy. And that will also allow you to realize, I may not end up being best of friends with this person, but I enjoyed a good conversation. And so don't dismiss everybody. And don't dismiss people with the anticipation of a perfect person is coming. There is no such person. Sorry to burst your bubble, but try something, and it could be the simple things. I know people who, let's say, for example, you've left campus, you've just gotten a first job, and you're wondering, how do I make friends in the workplace? It could be as simple as during lunch, go and sit with someone different every other lunchtime. Get to know what they are about. What do they do? Learn people. Don't dismiss them, all right? The more you dismiss people have come to learn, the more you dismiss the opportunity to know even things about yourself. So don't be so quick to cut off people, or also to just dismiss somebody because of how they look, maybe, or how they speak. No. The most authentic people sometimes are not necessarily always what you're looking for. So don't be so hard on yourself. Another way to do it in terms of that calculated risk is maybe you're a member of a gym somewhere, is that, okay, I know it's really awkward, but like after shower time, because I think when you're talking on your sweaty, it's a bit messy, is after shower time, when you're leaving the gym, say hi to somebody, so that every time you come, you have someone to say hi to. Over time, that hi moves into, but then what do you do? Or why are you working out? Spark up a conversation. These things go such a long way, and they really allow you to come out of yourself. So if you're trying to make friends, there are people always around you. Find out how best to approach it. The third thing now to do is that now you have learned who you are. You're self-aware, all right, I hope. And then now the second thing is that you're taking calculated risks, you're talking to people, you're initiating conversations. The third thing is now make a commitment, all right? Don't linger in calculated risks. I mean, they must, in that season of calculated risks, there may be somebody who stood out. Making a commitment is saying, now let's go and have tea. Let's go and spend a bit more intentional time with this person. Now this goes a long way into it, because now there's a sense of deliberate action to making a friend. So it's not just about saying, we work together all the time. This one, I know her, she stays here. You'll just end up having so much information about somebody. But making a commitment is such an important part of making friends, because it is at this point where you can gauge vulnerability. Gauging vulnerability is asking yourself, to this person, how far can I share some things? Or what level of friendship am I going to allow us to have? And so it's just to encourage people, to let you know that making a commitment is not saying I now engage you or I propose to you to become my friend forever. You're attached to me at the hip. Let's cut and shake hands, blood. No, don't be that extreme. Making a commitment is taking the next step of being intentional about learning somebody, so that now you have figured out, I have taken this risk, I've gotten to know, I see you, I know you, I've had loose conversations. Making a commitment is saying, now let's have a bit more intent, like tell me a bit more about who you are. Then also maybe something else is that it may not necessarily be another step, is that I recognize that there are also some opportunities where you may not have social spaces to meet people. And so I made a bonus thought. And this is reconnect with lost relationships. And I'm not talking about the ones that hurt you and you're done with. Is that sometimes life happens, you know what I mean? And maybe you had a friend and maybe you just lost touch with the person. This is a great place to just reach out, send a message and say, hey baby, how you doing? Let's catch up and see, like, let's catch up and find out what's happening in your life. And this is a good place to say it, because losing touch with a friend or an old friend is not a permanent situation. It doesn't mean that you're evil and bad. I know friends that I have lost touch with because maybe the season of life they were in was very fast moving, or mine was, and we couldn't necessarily always catch up and meet up and talk to them. Not that they were bad people, not that I ghosted them, or not that we were enemies. It's just that we just lost touch. And losing touch is not the enemy. It's just saying that let's find a way for us to have a conversation. And it could be as simple as calling the person up and saying, checking up on them, or asking them, let's go and have lunch together. Let's just, talk about life and what has happened. And so all this to let you know that when you're making friends, avoid the rush to make very, very, very permanent decisions in your journey of meeting people. Because you meet people every day. You meet people. If you're using public transport, you meet people every day in the matatu, for example. When you get to the office, you meet the guard, you meet your colleagues. If you're going to school, you meet new classmates almost every season. But this is just to tell you that getting to meet people doesn't necessarily mean that you have met your eternal friends. Is that you can be around people and learn about them, get to know who they are. But be careful when you're trying to get to know who they are, not to instigate that they should be vulnerable with you, because you're not yet friends. What you are is now you're acquainting yourselves with each other. And so get to know very, 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 very face value information when you're just meeting somebody. Then at the point where you're trying to make a commitment, let me let you know, do not demand of vulnerability if you don't give it. And so if they're willing to share with you some very vulnerable information, you either welcome it by sharing a bit of your own, but also you also have the opportunity to say, let's slow down, this conversation, let's give it some time before we rush into it. And so all this to let you know is that friends are not necessarily the most difficult thing to make, but I also want to let you know that in the adult phase of life, making friends calls for a bit more than sharing coloring pencils or playing with each other's toys. Making friends when you're an adult calls for a lot of intention, a lot of deliberate sacrifices, like spending time with the person, calling or texting, getting to know how they are, because in the adult phase of life, so much is happening, good and bad, and sometimes that will accord you a lot of sacrificial thinking, like I need to spend time with this person, I need to know how they're doing. Or in something that I have learned with adult friendship and how to sustain it, not necessarily just make it, because I've had the privilege of having very good friends, is that you involve your friends in the things you're doing in your life, so that you don't necessarily feel like you're far from them because we're doing these things together. And so don't be so hard on yourself if you haven't made friends. Don't be so hard on yourself if you feel like all your friendships are dying, I'm the problem. You may not necessarily be always the problem. You could find that maybe, just maybe, your approach to it is wrong. And so try something, give yourself credit when you try a small step. But also, let me just let you know, something I say to everybody is that in that season of making friends, be kind to yourself. People can surprise you because they could easily offend you, or they could mock your pursuit of friendship. That's okay. Allow them to be. maybe just means that that's not the person to be the friend with. So don't be so hard on yourself. At the end of the day, you're trying to make a relationship, so be kind to yourself. Don't be so mean. Don't be nasty about how life should be. There's no blueprint about friendship, but there is a blueprint to how you should be treated, and that blueprint, unfortunately, is created by you. So don't forsake the part of isolation where you get to know who you are and about yourself more. Yeah, I love friendship because I think it's the greatest strength a human being can have, that you're not alone in life. Be it with your friends, with your partner, with your family. Establish friendships with these people so that you feel like you're safe enough to be who you are in every space. Yeah, so I don't know if this was helpful to you. I'll only know if you leave a comment. Let me know what you felt jumped out and spoke to you, what you feel like you can add on. If you feel like making friends something you have tried, and you have tried something and it has worked that I haven't shared, please leave a comment. I really want to learn from you as well, but also share this with somebody who you feel like is going through a very hard time. See, this place is for helping each other, so let's help each other. So until next time, have a great week. I love you deeply, 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 deeply.